So guys, we have the suggestions passed to the developers for December 2024, the last of the year that we have right now. So let's talk about 4 vehicles that I saw there that would be really cool to see in the game. We have 3 jets and 1 ground vehicle. But of course I will leave the links in the description for you to check it out. And yeah, these are 4 vehicles that I think should be added in 2025 in some area, you know, or could be added eventually anyway, right? Although some of them are kind of a prototype, they're still too iconic to not be added. Okay, so we start with the least interesting one in my opinion, but still really cool, would be the Shenyang J11B Block 02. This was suggested by the Thrill 820, and it is basically a domestically upgrade of the J11 to be built in China, right? The idea here is to upgrade the vehicle from what we have of the J11A, and with that produce with mostly domestic parts, right? So eventually he will have a Chinese mall system, a Chinese helmet, a Chinese radar, Chinese engines, WS10s, which are amazing engines. You know, everything will be kind of Chinese. The missiles will be the PL-12s and the PL-8Bs, for example. Of course, he will not have 2 extra pylons, so it would still have just the 10 pylons, but in the middle between the engines, there was a prototype that had a dual mount for the PL-12s in the middle of the air intakes, just like the Su-27SM, right? So it could be 12 missiles, just like the Su-27SM is, right? And it would be very similar to what we have in the game with the SM and everything, just being an upgrade and a different take to the J11, right? Because of the different missiles, right? So instead of using the RVVA AE, right, the R77, R73, it would actually take the PL-8B, which is a PL-8 that has IRCCM, which should be very interesting, and the PL-12, which is a very good missile as well. So overall, it's a win for everybody. It would be cool, it would be different, and I think it should be added as soon as possible to have more of a Chinese version of the flanker. Okay, the second one is the ground vehicle, the M1097 Humvee. This is the Humvee that can carry the surface launch MRAM. So of course, as we all know, apart from Russia, everybody's kinda suffering from not having properly good AA systems on top tier matches, right, in ground battles. So this would help the US and maybe even other nations, but especially the US, with a very cheap option and very easy to implement, with basically a Hummer or a Humvee, right, upgraded to use the AIM-120, but also not only the AIM-120, the AIM-9Xs as well. So it would be basically just a normal launcher, just like we have already similar vehicles like the Chaparral and the Type 93, but at the same time uses very, very advanced missiles. So of course the AIM-9X maybe not, I mean, could not be added right now, but at the end of the day, at least with the AIM-120s, being AIM-120As, being surface launched, it would mean that it would have a lot of drag initially. It just means that we shall see a vehicle that could actually protect the US in ground battles pretty well, you know, and it would be cool to see such a vehicle, especially because I gotta say, like I said, apart from the Panzer, there isn't that many options for everybody else to have properly good AA systems, right? But they said that they are gonna add next year, it will be one of the focuses of adding new AA systems, right, for everybody, maybe apart from Russia, like I said, but at the end of the day, right? So it's interesting to see something like this that would help, and it was suggested and passed it to the developers for consideration, which is pretty cool, right? And then we get to the good stuff, in my opinion, an American and a Russian jet. The first, the American aircraft. So the F-16 XL, this was passed to the developers for consideration, and it is a pretty interesting vehicle. You gotta understand that this thing is basically a prototype. It went head to head to the F-15E with the F-15E, and it didn't win. So maybe it would even be added as a event vehicle or squadron vehicle or something, but it doesn't matter. I still believe that it is a very, very iconic aircraft. It is basically an F-16 that has a you know, a cranked arrow, I think it's called, design on the wings, so it turns like almost nothing else, and it still produces a lot of power with its engines, maintaining a pretty good thrust to weight, right? At the same time, it has an enormous amount of fuel and an enormous amount of you know, like payloads and pylons, right? So apparently it has 17 pylons that can be carried with many types of missiles. Normally it's 16 weapon stations, since one it's for a tank, right? But still, 4 semi-submerged M10 stations, 2 wingtip stations for missiles, 1 center line station, 2 wing heavy wet stations, and 2 chin stations for the lantern. So although 17 pylons are there, it would probably create you know, a similar-ish kind of like effect as, for example, or not effect, but it would be similar to some other vehicles that we have in the game, you know, like the F-15E and stuff. So it would be really powerful, turn very well, very good missiles, of course, like I said, M10s and stuff. You can carry 4 M10s and stuff, so it would be really cool to see it, right? I'm not gonna waste too much time talking about it. The pictures talk by themselves. It's just incredible. But yeah, and the last one, guys, the one that I love the most here in this list that was passed to the developers, it is the Su-37 Terminator, the flying legend. Yeah, it's basically Sukhoi showing what he could do in the 90s, right? So this is basically the evolution of the Su-27M that became the Su-35 later. It has canards, it has thrust vectoring, it has an enormous amount of power, 140 kilonewtons each engine, so it's just incredible. The radar is the bars, which is pretty much the same as the Su-30 SM, so it's a pretty good radar. Of course, all bells and whistles and everything. Even a real radar, if I'm not mistaken, to lock targets that are on your 6, and you could fire on them. So it's just an incredible aircraft that, in my opinion, we need to get, even if it's just kind of a premium material or event vehicle material or squadron vehicle material. I think it's just too incredible to not see it in the game, even if it's added as such as those things, right? So it's a pretty good aircraft. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it has more power, thrust vectoring, so it will turn a lot more. It has the 12 pylons, so it can carry, you know, R-27s, ERs and ETs, R-73s, R-77s, the Cubs, the FABs, the S missile like rockets, the KHs, right, 31, 59, 29. So it's an incredible aircraft that can do it all. You know, it really is a very strong aircraft, and basically it's the pinnacle of what maneuverability can be achieved with the flanker platform, right? The canards, together with thrust vectoring and the lightweightness of it compared to something like the Su-30 SM, would make this thing incredible if it gets the missiles. So yeah, hopefully it gets added next year. And yeah, it's just incredible. Such a beautiful aircraft. All of them are beautiful vehicles, right? But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about these 4 choices between the vehicles that were added as a pass to developer situation. But at the end of the day, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you agree with me. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye.